it. I thought it was going to warm up, but it's taken a while. It's
Yeah,
taken,
it's not warming up as fast as I'd like it to.
no, and very little snow.
No,
We
we
didn't
haven't
really,
had a ton of snow. We just have a tiny cover.
yeah, it didn't come like we thought it might, but oh well, maybe
Yeah,
the next one.
maybe. Yeah, yeah. There's not much out there.
No, you betcha, you betcha. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Fans Perspective. We're back again. We're back again. Josh had a big hockey game the other night, was hung over mostly
Yeah.
yesterday.
I did not even drink, but if you saw me, I probably walked like I was hungover. I
Oh,
am so sore today. No, I don't even drink anymore. I got asked that after the game. They're like, "You're not gonna have a beer?" I said, "Guys, it's 11:30. I'm old. I gotta work tomorrow. Plus, I had to babysit last night, all of Donnie's kids. Plus, I had
oh.
my own, as my wife and his wife were at meetings. I was like, nope, no, I'm just gonna have some water here. I think I had a Gatorade. But two of the kids are like, you're not even gonna have a beer. I said, no, it's a bad idea. I'm old. This is who you're dealing with now. I'm an old man.
But do you have a couple Red Bull? Because I'll need them on Wednesday.
I did. I did have a Red Bull right before the game.
Eh? Well, did you win at least?
We did. We had a great game. We had lots of youth on the team, and they had two pretty darn good players. I think I don't know if his name is Cade Gremlick. I don't remember. I don't know if his first name is
Caden.
Hayden. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a decent little hockey player, I'll tell you.
yeah.
Especially in rec hockey. And then a kid that plays for the Flyers came and helped him out. But our team, we're just way younger than everybody else we play. It just ends up being, we got guys like your son Austin and
Yeah.
Cody Sane, Donnie, Austin Dirk, Cole Grant, Jack Metz, Dylan Cook. I'm the oldest guy in the team by quite a bit.
So
And
you got some legs. You got
yo,
some
man,
youthful
like
legs.
we might not have like the most crazy hands,
Yeah.
but we just back check the shit out of everybody and like nobody gets a breakaway. Like nobody gets a clear breakaway. It's like if you're gonna get a shot on Josh, it's gonna be over a block. It's gonna be with the guy hanging off you. So it's nice to be the goalie on that team.
Well, and back checking isn't a common
No,
move in rec hockey.
no, not at all. Like I said, I've never experienced this before. This is fantastic.
Well, let's go over a little scores in the NHL last night.
Once again, there wasn't much because the schedule's ridiculous. There was three games, and I think one got postponed.
Yeah, well, three games. Yes, it did get postponed. So Montreal 3-2 winners over New Jersey. Detroit 3-2 winners over Florida in overtime. Chicago Buffalo postponed.
Yeah, I think it was because of the amount of snow Buffalo's getting. Was it in Buffalo?
Yes, it was. Yeah. But they
Okay.
played the football game the other day. Did Buffalo get more snow?
Yeah,
Obviously.
it hasn't stopped since Monday,
Oh,
and
really?
so yeah, so I guess they hired a crew of like 500 people to still be working at the stadium, still getting snow daily, just so that they can have a
Wow.
little better situation than they did last week. Yeah.
Yeah, but they did a pretty good job last week.
I thought so. Now, they said over 10,000 seats that never got shoveled out last game where they just made people walk through it and sit in the
Yeah.
snow. So
Well,
they
what do
don't
you
want
do?
that. They said they really want to try and have everyone have a real seat this time. They said because they said from the report I read, there's a lot of yellow snow and
Yeah.
some gross shit involved there. So they're like, we want to get rid of that snow. Yeah.
Well, I don't get why they're not building a dome in their new stadium. That makes
Or how do you know that they're the only stadium that doesn't have a dome that's anywhere that gets snow? Like there's like really none other ones that are
yeah,
open like them. They don't have a heated field.
really.
Every other one has a heated field. Everyone, like Green Bay, Baltimore,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, every outdoor stadium has heated field.
I,
Cleveland, not them. They do not
I
have a heated
wonder,
field.
I wonder if their new stadium will have that though.
That is in going to be in the new stadium, but like
Yeah.
it should have a roof. Like
Oh
you're in
yeah.
the NFL, you're building a new facility, it should have a roof.
As if you're especially in the cold zone or the snow zone
And they
or
are. Buffalo
yeah.
gets like they don't get as cold as us, let's be honest. They're nothing near what we get, but they get
No.
way more snow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. They get that lake effect snow off the lakes there, and
Yep.
they get tons of snow.
Tons of snow, man. That's ridiculous that they're
They
playing
get
football.
meters. We get millimeters. They get meters.
Yeah, no shit. And tomorrow I won't be on. Megan is gone. So I gotta get the kids ready for school, which is scary in itself. If anyone's listening,
That's all right.
any nice
That's all
moms that are out there, if they want to just drive in around 7 a.m. and help me create not such a shit show, I'll take the help.
right. No, that's no big deal. No big deal. We will
These the
we'll
old girl's in courses in Medicine Hat all day tomorrow, so she leaves tonight already. So I'm on my own tomorrow morning.
That's fine. That's fine, my friend. Well, let's get right to it then. Let's talk a little football. Um, we'll talk the game second, but Mike McCarthy supposedly returning to the Dallas Cowboys, which is me.
Was surprised. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Jerry Jones has lost his damn mind. Like the
Well, I wonder if he didn't have feelers out there, and Belichick was really the only guy that was going to throw it. If he's willing to come, McCarthy would be out possibly.
yeah.
But
I don't
uh,
think Belichick was honestly willing to go there. I don't think
no,
Belichick
I
wants to
agree.
go. I don't think he wanted to go where he didn't have full control. I think
Yeah,
he's going to pop up somewhere else. I mean,
I
I
think
could see him
Atlanta
in
is the leading
Chargersville.
team.
I could see him in Atlanta. Um, Atlanta, the only thing with Atlanta, Brady said on his podcast, he doesn't know if he'll go where there isn't a proven starting quarterback. He
Yeah,
said,
but
he's
but you know what? If Belichick goes there, they can get a starting quarterback.
yeah,
With
maybe they'd have to sign him right away, though. They'd have to get
yeah,
Belichick immediately to get
oh
time to
yeah,
get that quarterback because there is strong, and I mean extremely strong rumors that he wants Kirk Cousins.
okay.
Belichick does, and it sounds like Kirk Cousins may be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Oh,
And
interesting.
immediately would make the Steelers a damn contender, to be honest
Yeah,
with you,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
terrible for me. So I am hoping in any way, shape, and form that absolutely does not come to fruition. I would never want to see Kirk Cousins with the
That's
Steelers.
interesting. I like that rumor actually. Kirk Cousins to yeah, that would be interesting. Another guy, that Browning kid out of Cincinnati, like if I was looking to start somewhere,
I think Atlanta should go after him and then go after Belichick.
that would be one of my first calls is Browning in
I
Cincinnati.
agree. Because I don't have any faith in Ritter. I don't think he was the right choice. I don't think he's going to be a developed guy. I just don't think he's got it.
No, I don't think so either. And
Belichick in Philly would work.
yeah, it would. And
It would
Philly
work.
still. So yesterday, Sirianni was supposedly had met with Philly,
Yep.
Jeffrey Lurie, the owner. Nothing's come out of that yet,
Yeah.
but supposedly he is presenting his plan and trying to save his job. But I don't know if
Yeah, of
it's
course. Of course, you're going to try and save it. I don't think there's a chance there. I think Philly's pretty they are pretty fine-tuned, pretty organized, pretty professional. They weren't going to come out immediately and just fire him. That's not the way that they do
no.
things. They'll do it
Yeah,
the right way with class and they'll release him on time. And you know what I mean? Like I knew it wasn't going to be abrupt. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, but they'll
yeah.
give it some thought. They'll mull it over and then it'll happen properly.
They're going to talk to some players, Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
being one of them,
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey, probably another guy. And because there are so many quality coaches available,
There
like
are.
Mike, I believe Mike Vrabel is the leading candidate if Philly.
I love Mike Vrabel. He's the best available in my opinion.
Me too, me too. And if I was Dallas, that's where I would be going instead of McCarthy. I would be
Me too.
moving on right there.
Me too. Yeah, 100%.
But
It,
Jerry is a tough guy to work for, and
yeah,
if you want some player personnel control, Dallas and Philly are not the places to go to.
yeah, it's crazy. Just different teams around different ways, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But watch for the coaching changes in the NFL. It's going to heat up probably next week because
Yeah, I would think so. After another set of losses, another set of four teams gone or whatever after this weekend, everything will change.
yeah. Although, as I look at the schedule, Houston at Buffalo, or Houston at Baltimore, Green Bay at San Fran, Tampa at Detroit, KC at Buffalo. Are any of those coaches in trouble? Buffalo's maybe.
Buffalo's maybe. Buffalo's maybe. I know there's been lots of rumor they're not happy with McDermott this year, but I mean, the team came together. I don't think he lost the
Yeah.
room. Jesus, they
No,
came together
and
at the right time. They started terrible,
if
but
they beat KC this weekend,
yeah,
really, I mean, they're in good shape. I think McDermott's in.
absolutely. In the AFC final at that point, and 6 weeks ago, people said they weren't even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I
So
like Sean McDermott myself. I really do.
yeah, I have no issues with them. I don't know why they're. I mean, I think because that starting loss,
Yeah,
that's such a terrible start. I
yeah,
think they just went nuts on them, but I think they've got to realize what it came out to at the end. But
and winning. Buffalo with Allen there. I mean, it's a win now. It's a
yeah, oh,
win.
it's definitely a win now. It is not a rebuild, retool. It is a have to win now because Stephon Diggs ain't going to be there forever either. He's a nutcase. All he does
Yeah.
is bitch and moan and I don't get the ball enough. And I'm like, you're a number one receiver. The reason you don't get the ball is because you haven't freed yourself up on those particular games. Every other game you get 200 yards. Shut
Yeah,
up and don't let your
you,
brother get in your head. His brother's tweeting stuff, creating shit. I don't know what it is about some of the football players, but they just go nuts on their they shouldn't even have social media, but they go nuts on it and they
oh,
just
I
so
mean,
dumb.
they get 100 plus receptions. How many more times can a QB throw to him?
Exactly. And he's got a quarterback that's not afraid to throw an interception, meaning he's throwing him the ball a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Josh Allen can be a beast, and when he ran last weekend,
Yeah.
wow, like he's fast for a big
Yeah,
man.
he's a fast for a big kid. He's elusive for a big kid.
Yeah.
And he normally amps up his running come playoff time and always
Oh
goes up
yeah.
by 20 or 30%. And he
Yeah.
is hard to tackle because he is a big boy. He's thick too. Like he's
Oh
not
yeah.
some thin, lanky quarterback. He's a man.
Yeah, he's a man. So okay, let's start with the preview. We're going to skip over Houston, Baltimore. That is our first game on the weekend, but we'll save it for the last because that's your baby. So
Yeah. Scares
so
the shit
yeah,
out of me.
you get to experience game one is your game this weekend,
Yeah,
man.
that's a horrible situation. I'd way rather have it be Sunday night's game, but yeah.
And I'm surprised there is no Sunday nighter really, but we'll get into that. So Green Bay at San Francisco. What are you thinking at that game
I'm
there?
I'm thinking it's going to be way closer than people think.
Yeah,
I think that Green Bay is better than what people gave them credit for all year. Kind of like the Bills, they've gotten better as the season went on.
yeah,
Jordan Love is absolutely clicking right now. I like Aaron Jones in the playoffs, or I really have. Um, and I think their defense is good. I really do. If Jar Alexander, is that how you pronounce his name? If
yep,
he's back, because I know he went out last game,
yeah. The
that's a
defensive
big
back
threat.
there.
That's like a TJ Watt type of guy. When he's in, they do better.
Yeah,
So hopefully he's back. But I can't call the upset because I think the Niners are just too good. But they haven't had to be that good down the stretch, and that worries me when you're the best team in football, but you
yeah,
haven't had to win to get to where you are, kind of thing. Um, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on them, although I was, 4 weeks ago.
yeah.
The Green Bay Packers, they got that upset dog in them. I mean, they shouldn't have won last week, and they did. But I do, at the end of the day, I think the Niners come away with it because of the roster that they have.
They have a tremendous roster, but I don't know. I'm on the same page as you. I
Ah,
can't cut out Green Bay. And I'll just put it this way. I'm not predicting them to have an upset, but I would not be surprised. I
there,
wouldn't
that's what
be
I'm saying.
surprised.
I expect San Francisco to win this game, but it would
Yeah,
not shock me if the Packers won it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Jordan Love, like
I
welcome
think he's
to
their guy. I think he's their guy.
yeah.
I don't know how you strike lightning three times, get Favre, then Rodgers, then you find another guy right after it. I don't know how a team does that, but cahoots to them.
Well, and they draft him and then they sit him and let him
Learn and watch
yeah.
but I mean, the fact that they find a guy for someone to learn and watch and look after is unbelievable. No teams just get that. Like that potentially could be 50 years of good football.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And I sent you a little text the other day about the Green Bay Packers, and I said, wasn't that Reggie White signing like the entire change that Green Bay needed. Like after Reggie White signed, all of a sudden players wanted to go to Green Bay, and that team has been a different team ever since that time.
I know it's like if you get the right guy who's decent, plus maybe has connections within the league and says like, dude, this is a fun atmosphere. We're young, we're having a great time.
Yeah,
It's we want to win. We're not just, this and that. That spreads like wildfire. And you can't imagine the people that want to come there. I mean, that is why Baltimore has always kind of had that defensive. We always get really good guys on the defensive side of the ball. And that was
yeah,
something
yeah.
that Raquan
You're,
Smith said. The reason he went there in the first place, like the reason he stayed or whatever,
yeah.
or accepted the trade, because apparently he had to accept that trade. Like there's
Oh,
only
okay.
four
Yeah,
places he said that he was willing to be traded from the Bears. And
yeah,
he said was everybody I've talked to is like they're defensive coaches, they're everything. They're a family. He's like they go out and eat together. They do everything together. He's like, I kind of wanted to experience that. We only had practice together, and after that, it was just like we all separated. And
yeah,
he's like, everyone I talked to is like on the defensive side of the ball, you want to go to Baltimore, man. Like it is such a blast hanging out there. Like the
yeah.
competitions we have in practice and all this. And that's they all talk. And I bet you that was a huge deal when he decided he's probably the one that took the risk, Reggie White.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Well,
he probably has enough connections and
Reggie White really started the free agency in the NFL. Like that
yeah,
was a fight to get out of Philadelphia there. I forget what kind of contract he had. It was an unbelievable one
yep,
with Philly. They basically had him locked up, and then it went legal.
yeah.
The
I
lawyers
hate
got
that
involved.
shit.
Yeah, and actually he was deemed a free agent that time, and then he went there and created that culture. No different in Baltimore. Ray Lewis created Baltimore's culture. Like
Yeah,
there's no
it did. It
question.
started with Ray, for sure it did. That
Yeah,
was their first ever draft pick or whatever, first ever first rounder. I don't remember what the story is there, but that he created a culture. Guys wanted to come. And when they came to Baltimore, they stayed in Baltimore.
yeah, yeah.
Almost all of them.
And Ray is maybe not involved, but is still involved, right?
Yeah,
Like
well, he's in the dressing room every game. He gives
yeah,
pregame speeches. He's on the field talking to the boys before the game. He gets Roquan pumped up, and then Roquan gets the group pumped up. I mean, I follow their social media team. And
yeah.
Ray's at every game. I think he's part of their team chaplain situation. Like they've got
Okay,
their
yeah,
pastor, and then he helps.
yeah.
Allegedly murdered a guy. It's not real, so don't worry about it. He can be a chaplain too. All alleged, never proven. So,
I still loved his entrance onto the field. Like
oh
he had
man.
the best dance, man, and that pumped you up. But
He's like the Ric Flair of football.
he
Woo!
is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he basically is. And Ric Flair, speaking of Ric Flair, was in Tampa on the
Yeah, I
weekend.
was. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. The
he's
nature boy, baby.
only 135, but he made it. And
Yep.
believe it or not, is still actively wrestling. I cannot believe it.
Believe it. I have no idea how I'm believing it, but he is. It's actually
He's in his
unbelievable.
70s. Like, what could he possibly do as a maneuver in his 70s? But he's
Even
still
his
good.
dance when he used to do the woo, it's like
Yeah.
shaky now with
Yeah.
dementia and stuff. It's hilarious, but I love it.
Probably stronger than most
Oh yeah,
40 year guys. But
oh my God, for sure he's probably still stronger. But Nature Boy he's he looks a little old, but I loved him at the Tampa Bay game.
yeah.
That was cool. I mean, good for them. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Speaking of a wrestler and a cool story, I read 2 days ago, I read Hulk Hogan. He was in the state of Florida. There was an accident on one of the interstate highways, and a 15-year-old girl was trapped in her car. And Hulk Hogan grabbed a pen, popped the airbag, and pulled her out of the car. So
That's awesome.
yeah, like the
Hulkmania, baby.
Hulkamania comes to the rescue and rescues
Can you
15-year-old
imagine?
girl from the
Like
car.
who
Yeah,
rescued you? Hulk? Hulk Hogan
yeah.
did. Like what?
Yeah, so pretty cool. Pretty cool. I wonder if he ripped his shirt off before he did that, maybe slammed the car afterwards and stuff like that. But
I love Hulk Hogan. Man, and his
oh yeah,
prime mustache, bald on top with a mullet in the back. Like, man, he just pure
he,
ridiculousness. But
he was wrestling though for the
he was
longest.
awesome.
Like he built that empire. There is no
Oh, when
question.
he said brother, oh my God, that was
Yeah.
electric.
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
back
shit.
on track here, Tampa Bay at Detroit, and I think this could have the chance at being actually a lopsided game myself.
It has the chance to. Yes, I do believe Detroit. They're on a mission. But you know, in the back of my head, I always have two things. One is Baker Mayfield's been trying to prove a point his whole career that he's been
Yep.
just cast away all the time. And like last week, he had a great game. He had a ton of drops on his receivers, and he had a great game. Now, got to give credit where credit's due. The the Eagles defense did give them a lot. They just weren't tackling. You could tell
They
they
give
weren't
him
even tackling.
everything.
It was the worst tackling I've ever seen, of course.
Well,
So
if they were in the area even to where the ball was going, because it was.
exactly. It was just a terrible game. So it's not
Yeah,
a great one to look off of, but the the Lions, number 2 point, they've had a few games where they just kind of like they come off their high and they're just not as efficient. It's like they just like the game against the Ravens, they were supposed to just crush them. And the
yeah,
Ravens didn't play that great, but they just brutally crushed them. Um, and like I watched the game and I was like, man, I was pumped because I thought that was a loss to me. Like you're going against the Lions
yeah,
who had a better record at the time and they just didn't show up. And so in the
yeah,
back of my head, I was like, that can happen to them. They've had games where they have not shown up.
yeah.
Um,
That's
but
true.
I
That is
think
true.
that playoffs, Dan Campbell will have them ready. Jared Goff has something to prove. They're
Yeah,
healthy, and I think they're gonna win that one. Yeah.
I think so too. They're at home
Yeah.
again. Aiden Hutchinson and that front four is going to get pressure.
Yeah.
Baker is not standing in like he did
No,
against.
no, I agree with that. Baker's gonna have to be on the run, and I don't know if he's near as
Yeah,
efficient that way. Yeah.
and I do not believe the running game for Tampa is going to have any success against that
Yeah, they
front
don't have a
seven.
great
Right.
running game. They
Yeah.
use him out of the backfield a lot. And I believe for them to win, my thing is Mike Evans is going to have to get open and make some great catches.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the one guy that wasn't really able to get open. The Philly did kind of cover him up. Um, but I don't know if their tight end's going to have the success he did running through the middle against the Lions. Mike Evans is going to have a big game, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Detroit by 10 for sure in
Ben?
that game. Yeah, for me, but just too much going for them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
coming off a high. They're going to be pumped up. They're at home again.
Yeah, and that
Uh,
crowd is going to be even crazier this week than they were
it
last
will
week.
be. Yeah, and they got a good team. I mean,
Yep,
they
they do. They
really
got a
have.
great team, great
Yeah,
coach team too. So they believe and they want it. So
yeah, they have no holes as far as I'm concerned. And Aiden Hutchinson is a difference maker. Talk
I,
about
I agree. I love that kid. He stays healthy. They're good to go.
really, in my opinion, it probably in the top five of defensive ends in the game right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. This year for sure.
I mean, and only going to get better.
Yeah, he's so
That's
young. He's awesome.
yeah. This is second year, so like,
Yeah,
wow, the man is going to be something. But
he is awesome. Yeah,
you betcha. Moving on, big game. Well, maybe the one I'm looking forward to the most: Kansas City and Buffalo on the weekend. Like
yeah,
year three of that battle. Roles reversed this year though. Kansas City on the road for the first
yeah.
time in the battle.
In Mahomes'
Uh,
history, yeah.
yeah, and go ahead. What do you see coming out of that one?
Man, I'm torn on it. Of course, I think the Bills right now are a better, more well-rounded team, but you can never count out Patrick Mahomes, not ever. He
No.
is he is a winner. As much as I wish he wasn't, he is a freaking winner. He's got big red.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe this is when Kelsey breaks through his little bit of a slump he's had. That Rashid Rice is really turning out to be a great receiver. And if they can get Isaiah Pacheco going right away with the defense that they do have, because that is a good defense. Like the Bills
Yeah.
haven't really played against the defense quite like that one yet
No.
in this stretch of wins. It's not going to be like I know some people are like, well, Buffalo's going to win this one. It's their year. I'm like, I agree. It should be their year. They're very talented. They seem very healthy. Um, but that Chiefs team knows how to win, man. They've just been winners since Mahomes been there. Mahomes is healthy. Kelsey, I think, is healthy.
Yeah.
Pacheco's definitely healthy. They got one receiver in Rashid Rice. They got one guy that can catch the ball, and their defense is so damn good. Um, I don't know. It's going to be a dogfight. I have a feeling it's going to be a dogfight, and I can't even pick a winner. I can't do it. I cannot pick a winner. I
I think
I
it's
would think
gonna,
it's going to be the Bills, but I don't
yeah,
I don't know. This one's really got me torn.
I think it's going to be a great game. If you want entertainment, tune into that game. It's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be a lot of offense, I believe.
Yeah.
But I do believe Buffalo is going to pull this one out. It is their turn, and I think they're going to win by like probably 2 points.
Okay.
Kansas City driving at the end of the game, but does not quite get into field goal range.
All right.
And Buffalo, cold, snow, a field goal is no gimme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it is not a gimme. No, it is not.
Especially if it's the Buffalo Bills kicker kicking.
Yeah, I sure hope it don't come down to that from 48 plus yards.
No, because he had trouble hitting the stadium last week.
Yeah.
Not
That's a
even
small
the
stadium. It's a small stadium. It's why they're building a new one.
not even the goalposts. The stadium he had trouble hitting. Like it was brutal. And something probably no one's talking about is and an interesting point. Will Buffalo's punter be available, or did they have to bring in someone new? Like I'm sure they got backups
I
there,
believe
but
they did sign someone, but they haven't counted this guy out yet.
yeah, but that you could really screw up on that decision. If it's me, if there's any questions, you're going with the new guy because you
Yeah.
can't have your punter go down in the middle of the game.
Field placement is a huge deal,
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs. It's all about that time of possession and, where on the field do you get to start 90% of your reps from? Like, teams that win generally start from 35, 40 and up. They own
that
the field position. So,
that punter from Detroit,
yeah,
man, does he have a leg? He kicks him like 60 plus yards in the air.
I know it's absurd. Yeah, he is a tank, dude. That's impressive.
Yeah, and you might not think that that's a tide turner, but it really
Oh, it
is.
is.
Defensive struggle, field position is everything, and Patty Mahomes is so good. You want him to start with the worst field position
That's right.
possible every
Absolute
time.
every single time. Yeah, you absolutely want to. Having good kickers is more important now. I used to see jerseys at games and it's like kicker who, like
Yeah,
don't need a kicker. It's like, are you nuts? You have a good kicker, you're basically always in points spots.
yeah,
Like, I mean, Justin Tucker has definitely taken a step back as he gets older.
yeah, for
But
sure.
he's still, top, I think, three in the league or top two. But they get over that 50, and in a tight game, they always got that option. Like, oh, we're in points at least. We can kick a 60-yarder. We're in points range, and that's a huge thing to have. A good punter, which the Ravens used to, have Sam Cook for years. He could place the ball anywhere he wanted to. That was
Yeah,
such a benefit to those guys. You do that, and then you throw the Ravens defense on top of them with bad field position, and it was perfect. When you had Flacco, who you knew was going to throw 3 to 48 picks a game, you had to get the field position because, like, when you
you
had the
do.
opportunity, you had to pin them. And yeah,
Yeah,
kickers, Pat McAfee are going to appreciate this, but kickers are very important.
they are very important, and if there's anything in the NFL that goes unnoticed, but I think has improved, it's the kicking game on field goals and punting. Like there
Yeah,
are rock stars at that position, and they
yeah,
go unnoticed. And
hundred
wow,
percent,
been good this year. They've been good,
100%.
except Buffalo's place kicker. I'm not confident.
Not so good, or hasn't been. Maybe just had a rough one there. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right, let's get to your game, my friend. Houston at Baltimore, and I'm
Man,
going to let you take her away because this is your baby. My team is golfing.
you know that I'm never that confident when it comes to the playoffs. I'm a big Lamar guy, but of course, until he proves it, he hasn't proven it.
Yeah,
I think they have the right team to go deep. I think their defense is solid and really healthy. Their offense is pretty healthy. We might have Mark Andrews back. It hasn't been announced yet. Offensive line looks good. But Lamar hasn't had a breakout game in the playoffs yet, and this Houston team is no joke. Their defense is good. CJ Stroud is on another level right now. He's very healthy. Nico Collins is catching absolutely everything and making guys pay on every play. He's really popped up as just a fantastic number one. And I mean, they had a
yeah.
number one in Tank Dell. Just think if they had him back.
Yeah.
That would be like a Puka Nakua Cooper Cup situation, damn near.
Yeah.
Um,
Houston is definitely in the right direction. Like
oh
they
my
are
God,
building.
they're beyond their rebuild. They're in it now.
Yeah,
They're back.
DeMarco Ryan's head coach has done a tremendous job.
Tremendous job there. Unbelievable. They were cast-offs for the Pat forever, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But
Since Deshaun Watson visited the massage parlor, they've been cast-offs.
getting that franchise quarterback changes everything. And
Everything. Yeah. They made
when
the
you
right
surround,
choice.
yeah, when you surround them with a good coach,
Yep.
uh, you're a good team. And
And they
Houston,
gave him a good offensive line. That was the one thing they did have for a
yeah.
quarterback right away. And that is huge for a rookie quarterback.
The only thing that could make Houston any better is if they could have the Houston Oilers uniforms for
I
today's
agree. Those are like if they came out with those Saturday morning, they just showed up on the field with them and be like, we're done. We're done. Can't beat those. Things are amazing. Yeah.
Those were there was a big fight this season over them
Yes.
between Tennessee and Houston. Who owns the rights?
That's crazy. But yeah,
Okay.
I want to see the Ravens win. I'm going to say the Ravens win in a very tight game, but I'm honestly,
Yeah.
I wish I was confident, but I can't be. I'd love to be confident, but man, what I found this year is the second I feel really confident, we
Yeah.
lose. Well, we go
Yeah.
against the Steelers, not the last game because that one didn't matter. I kind of expected them to lose without Lamar and everything, but that earlier game, Indianapolis comes to town. I'm like, well, this one we got. They don't even have Anthony Richardson. They had Minshew or whatever, whoever they had.
Yeah. Gardner Minshew.
I'm like, well, we got this one. I mean, here's bam, lose by 3 points at the end of the game. I'm like, what just happened? We couldn't move the ball. Our offense was just non-existent. Then we go on a couple more wins playing Cleveland. I'm like, okay, well, we got to have this one. Like, this is our game to win this one. It's over. It was at home. They get a field goal last second from 47 yards to win it. I was like, oh, what is going on? How do you lose to them? This is ridiculous. And that was before they got good, don't forget. So they weren't. And then we win a bunch more or whatever, a couple more. And then the Steelers, we go to Pittsburgh. I'm like, well, we're going to dominate them. Their quarterback's a literal pylon. Nope. They beat us too. I was like, I losing to the Steelers, man. I almost got a disease from watching that one. That was horrific. And then we go on a tear and win a bunch. And I'm like, who are these guys? Like, are we as good as when we're winning? Or, I guess you're never as good as your best game and you're never as bad as your worst. I do think the Ravens are really good when they're healthy. I think they're well coached this year. We have great coordinators on both sides, which I haven't been able to say for years on both sides of the ball. I have faith in Todd Monken and McDonald big time. The guys are hungry. All year they've been cast down. Even getting the first seed, they still were told that, I don't know, we'll see when it comes to the playoffs. So there's still doubt. And I think that fuels these guys quite a bit. So I hope they come out absolutely amped up, and I hope we win by that 7 to 10 points. But at the end of the day, I'm not confident in that.
And do you know what the weather's going to be like on Sunday in Baltimore?
I don't. I did not check. It hasn't popped up saying anything crazy, so I assume probably just a normal end of January type day. Probably cool, a little breezy.